Well, hello there, everyone. Here to show you right here is like you see, you got the portrait of Jesus right here, and basically, I was like, look at no pictures whenever I drew this this picture right here. But you see right here is like a drawing, a picture right here that I went ahead and drew. I guess we could also call it as a sketch of say of what Jesus looks like, and I can tell anybody here that whenever I used to do this, whenever I was a kid, going to the church, and then on your hand to the, any other type of artistic lessons I may have had, and basically mentioning about the whole purpose about drawing, and knowing about, I usually want to look at a picture, just to get an idea for what I was going to be drawing, and for most of the time, if most artists, whenever they do their artwork of time, I'm like, yeah, that they would like that. That there's like what you call it's like a difference, like say between sceneries, and you see realism is like if you're actually looking at something while you're drawing it, and for this activity right here is basically that I got working, I say, I guess say black and white, that it's like talking about, it's like you see right here is Jesus, and I can use them right here is the HB, and this I guess this is a number 2 pencil, of course, right here I'm working with, but a lot of times, though, I'm like, yeah, if they would be testing you in at the schools or something like that, they ask you to bring a number 2 pencil right there. But anyway, but on your hand that you have right here, as I would have found, is a mechanical pencil, and if most of us it's like yeah, that you have these different pencils, and like wondering about what's the difference really between them, and let's just say though that that you have right here is this right here, this type of pencil would more likely be a writing pencil. Anybody that may wonder, though, I'm like, yeah, if you want to go ahead and maybe write, Jesus, it's like, I'm like, yeah, for Jesus. But on the hand, knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that with my son of say, for Jerusalem, and on the hand too for heaven, it's like for heaven is for real, but you have right here is a pencil right here, like I say, for the mechanical pencil, and then you also have this pencil right here that I sharpened about 2 of them, just for like a good writing, say lead type point right there. But if this was right here was like with Jesus right here, and this like say is a black and white, that picture right here, and if I were to be scanning this and uploading this to Photoshop, and just show people here knowing about, I'm like, yeah, for if. Especially if the page is torn halfway, and knowing about, I'm like, if you come to the point where if you're working with a piece of sketch paper, and let's just say if it's torn, that a lot of times people may go ahead and throw the paper away, or they may use it for some other reason. But let's just say right here, this page right here was half torn. If we see right here, I'm like, yeah, it's half torn. Don't really have a really good sturdy surface for it, just to to draw the rest of the picture. But if I want to go ahead and add some clouds or something like that, for like so far as for the sun shining, and say for the stream, for heaven or something like that. But let's just say right here is that this right here would be say a portrait right here of where it's like with Jesus, and I tell anybody here that I'm like, yeah, even on like most Sunday mornings though, that the church and whoever that was at the youth group, not really asked me to do any type of a portrait art, even on Photoshop or any type of program. Back in the early 1900s, of course, they like, yeah, what's Photoshop? I'm like, the only Photoshop that I think that more likely that they may be familiar with, maybe that could have been produced maybe like on a Macintosh or some program like that. More likely Paint. I'm sure Microsoft Paint has been around for quite some time, so they may say, like, anything that you want to do is like take a picture of it and then work it like on a program like Microsoft Paint. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you right here is the type of work that I could be doing, say, on Photoshop. You got right here is talk about, it's like for Photoshop Jesus right here, and I'll go ahead and change right here is the color right here. Go ahead and change the color to like say a light say to a light type, what you call that, that type of color. But anyway, there's a way I can go ahead and change right here is brush type as well. But anyway, if for most part that I'll go ahead and change right here is the brush to, I'm like, you go ahead right there, and then from size there, go ahead and change it to 26 pixel, and then from there, and then if I want to go ahead and say with blue, work right here with blue. But anyway, but this right here is a drawing that I went ahead and worked right here of say you know, with Jesus, and you know, Photoshop Jesus, and I mentioned before that you know, that I can remember that I can remember the church, you really, if they would ask me if I want to go ahead and maybe draw a picture of maybe what we think, you know, what Jesus looks like. I'm like, yeah, if he's that, you know, type of person who has like a, you know, blue eyes and see here type of hair for give him a, you know, beard type. I'm like, you know, he may have like dark brown, you know, bluish, you know, hair. I can go ahead and I'm like, yeah, we're getting some practice with the brush tools, and then I think about, I'm like, exactly about what type of look. You know, let's see here, yeah, change it right there to larger. Yeah, it's see here for the beard, yeah. I'm like, you know, I don't know if he had that, you know, big, you know, type bushy of a beard, but go ahead and maybe use a little bit of that, and then. Yeah, nice if you know, for this program, it'd be nice if I know that these, you know, brushes, these swatches, you know, with you know, other type of tools, that more likely that they probably have names. But on the hand, too, just trying to think of you know, the name, knowing about that for what they're, you know, particularly called. But anyway, I'll go ahead and this right here, yeah, this is a type of go ahead and I guess, you know, the blur. So go ahead and change that right there, and then if I yeah, go ahead and add right here a little bit of blue. I'm like, for the most part, you know, Jesus's hair. Go ahead and maybe add some blue and say brown or something like that. I think yeah, I was going to go ahead and add some yeah, like a little color look right there for the eyes, but you make that a little smaller, yeah. For the eye, you see your work right here for the eye, and then from there, and then I'll go ahead and work right here. There's a little bit with the clothes, and yeah, going from brush to brush, huh? But anyway, I'll go ahead and put it right here. It's like just a little bit yellow on it, you know, like, you know, for Christ, you know, for Christ clothes, you know, for here for the photo, for the picture of Jesus. And if you know, if we have ever thought about maybe getting some practice with Photoshop or working with any type of a picture, like, you know, for talking about, you know, for Jesus, and like talk about if it's like, say, you know, the Book of Moses or anything like that, but work right here of you know, add in some color right there for the clothes. For the most part, I have gotten a lot of my experience using the brush tool, and of course there's also like what you call is like for mask layer, and then you know, other types of layers that, you know, if I want to go ahead and add some more layers, like it to, like, say, the, you know, the feet right there, and then for where Christ will be walking, and then so, you know, other like parts to say of you know, for the picture of Jesus. But I'll go ahead and see here, use the blue, and but if anybody up there at the church is like, yeah, that want to ask, it's like doing an activity for what we think, you know, Jesus looks like, and then, you know, this right here will be like what you call what Jesus would look like, right? You know, like from not looking at no pictures and nothing. I just went ahead and drew this right here, you know, using, you know, the pencils, but you go ahead and work right here with a little bit of, see, with the, you know, the brush tool right here. And if I were to go ahead and add like what you call is like using this tool right here, that you know, using this, I guess, see, this brush tool, that go ahead and add like a background. And I would say though that if I want to go ahead and do, you know, working with the green right here, and just, you know, add like, say, a background right here, And see here if we can see this right here, you know, this background right here. That you got right here is, you know, the toes right there for, you know, for Jesus. And I went ahead and used the cropping tool, by the way, you know, just to kind of give, like, say, the cropping tool a little you know, work up. It's like, you know, anything you know, that they usually say that, you know, to try to you know, add try to take off, you know, any empty space as possible, you know, just to give, say, that so, you know, for any space that's not used, that you can more likely take that off. But anyway, they say that, well, you can do what you want, but other than that you have right here, or I'll go ahead and work right here. Go ahead and add like a little bit of orange yellow type mix right there for the hands and then for the feet. But anyway, but talking about is like for the you know, the Photoshop of Jesus, and knowing about that you know, that I can remember that if I would have had maybe a Photoshop program at those couple years ago, to where if I could, you know, draw a picture of more likely what does Jesus look like, and that type of stuff, and you know, and for the most part, that some may say though that I'm like, yeah, that you know, what does Jesus looks like, and what does Jesus look like, and from, you know, the face, and then you know, from the clothes and stuff like that. But I'll go ahead and add right here, yeah, some dark color, and then along with some white. I'm like, I guess if he, the type of clothes that more likely that Jesus will be wearing, and if we were to be working with any type of paint program, though, is that knowing about that. See here, I'll go ahead and use right here for, say, the portrait, the Photoshop of Jesus right here. Would be is that see here, I use yeah, and I'll go ahead and use the white, and see here, yeah, if that's wide enough, just a little bit of white right there. Yeah, that seems like a whole lot, which I think it is. But anyway, talk about, like, yeah, you're trying to, according to my artwork, that knowing about, I'm like, exactly, that's really what Jesus looks like right there. I'm like, yeah, you blend a few colors in, and a lot of times with the artwork from over the years, whenever I do artwork for whatever I picture in my mind, and then from what I'm trying to do, if I'm working with stencil art or anything like that, and knowing about, I'm like, yeah, that, oops, well, a little bit too much, or, you know, if that's about right, I'm like, yeah. But anyway, but you see right there is that with right there is a little drawing, say, of Jesus, and like, if I want to go ahead, maybe put like a little background in the back, and for the most part, that you know, the type of background I'm talking about, more likely, you know, could be, it's like, you know, if it's going to be mountains or anything like that, I'm like, you know, yeah, that I can maybe draw some mountain scenes at about right here. So you kind of give it, like, the brush, and then work with, say, with the brush, and I'm sure there's probably other tools to use for, you know, if you want to draw some mountains in the scene. You know, I'll go ahead and work right here with this other type of brush tool. But anyway, see what that does. But other than that, working right there, you got right there is, you know, for Jesus, and then if I want to go ahead and for the most part, that water, if I want to go ahead and maybe add some water in the background, like if there's a lake or something like that in the background. Some of us may think, though, that for the most part, that with water, that how to make it realistic of you know, if there, you know, more likely there may be ways other than what you call, you know, just using, you know, the color, though, is that if you want to go ahead and make the water look a little bit more realistic, if I want to go ahead and add like a little background, like you know, the mountains, you know, show the mountains as reflection, say, in the water, and then it will be like, say, kind of like this right here, kind of slanted to where we would kind of see that the mountains at about right here. You know, the reflection in the water. And then if I want to go ahead and see here, got the mountains right there, and if I want to, use some of the green, you see, give it a dark color of green. But anyway, the type of things that more likely that we can maybe be, using for paints, though, that I'm like, I guess that all depends, huh? But from most of us, if we got experience with working with paint, though, that like most of the time with paint, that if we're not careful, it gets all over the place, etc., etc., and just knowing about how to work the paints but on the other hand, that I'll go ahead and hold the mouse down right here just to kind of give this a little bit of color too. But talk, I say, with the portrait art of Jesus, and I'll go ahead and add right here, like some grass right here. If Jesus will be walking, and the type of lands that I'm like, yeah, guy right there is Jesus, and knowing that I was thinking about that working right here, maybe if I want to go ahead and draw clouds or something like that in the sky, which I can maybe try to do that. I'm like, yeah, maybe like give it like a blue type color, draw some clouds in the background. Like some clouds right there, and then along to say the sunsets. I want to go ahead and add like a little sunset about sunrise, little glares of the sun. I'm like, yeah, usually that like a red, yellow. If I see here, go ahead and switch to yellow. Go ahead and use like a little darker yellow for that. And I'm sure that there's probably a way, which I know that I have not checked out all the tools, but anyway, but you got right there is Jesus, and I'll go ahead and work a little bit more on the face right here, and I can go ahead and change the color right here, to like a lighter, yellow, and then right here, go ahead and change the brush size. Right here, work just a little bit on the face, but then see here the brush, use the brush type and then the size, and then work right here. Go ahead and just add a little bit of yellow just right here for the face. And knowing about, I'm like, yeah, maybe that a little bit too much white. You can maybe just use a little bit of touch up right there. But there you are. You have right there. Whoop, a little bit too much, but anyway, but that right there, more likely, if Jesus were looking a little bit like that right there, I'm like knowing about with the hair and then the clothes and then with the beard, but and then I'll go ahead and draw right here a little bit right here of the fingertips. Right here's the hand, but and then maybe some dark spots around on the clothes. I'm like, yeah, go ahead and give that like a little dark color right there. But anyway, the things that more likely we could do on Photoshop, and I remember that if that other people that looked at my artwork, they probably say about the types of things that more likely you can do on Photoshop that maybe like to see some of the work. But way I think, I'm like, yeah, that I'm still getting some practice with this also. But the way I think about it, that with a lot of my artwork, that some may say though that I'm like, yeah, well, Jesus has a what you call that type of what about the animals, what about the horse, and what about the lambs and something like that. But I went ahead and drew this artwork right here, basically that shows like that I was not looking at no pictures whenever I was drawing them, and knowing about how exactly for how Jesus looks like, and and I always say though that I'm like, yeah, if you want to go ahead and try draw him, like say on the cross, for around Easter time. But I'll go ahead and zoom in right here. You have right here is like we say with the the feet right here, and it's like you add just a little bit of shadow right there in your dark spots, like for around the feet, and but other than that, you have right there is like the coloring right there of Jesus. For what does Jesus what does Jesus look like? But anyway, from what I learned, from activities, say from the church it was, and then for any practice I'm getting, right here on Photoshop, I'll go ahead and zoom right in right here. It's like for the face, and if most of us think about, I'm like, yeah, about picture what Jesus looks like, and if he really has long hair and then a beard and stuff like that, I'm like, but if he wears a hat, walks with a cane, or like if they caught, like say walks with that walker, and but walks around, say with animals. But other than that, guy right there is like for Jesus right there, and go ahead and add some work right here for the beard. But for just knowing about, I'm like, if that's, I'm like, yeah, it looks a little bit maybe like Noah. I'm like, yeah, if I want to go ahead and, a lot of times, any ideas I want to talk, I might think about, whenever I used to work those puzzles, that with this type of a color right here, if I want to go ahead and add a little bit background right here. You got the water right there. If anybody like it says, like you do a little bit of work on the water, like yeah, got the water right there. If there was like say a little bit of black on there, a stream of black and a mixture black and blue. But anyway, yeah, I can go ahead and put a little bit more blue in there, just kind of give it, like say that water type. From a lot of practice I had gotten using Microsoft Paint, though, that I kept thinking about, the type of color that more likely that that help make that makes water look real. And I kept thinking that if like a blue, but then maybe give it like say a lighter color right here, like a lighter color, but then just kind of tap it instead of giving it a whole lot, just kind of give it a tap it like wave. Something like that. I might just put a little bit of white in there as well, just for the water. And I'm sure that there's say for the blend tool, if I want to go ahead and blend it a little bit right there. That's for the water right there. And then it's like for the mountains. It's like, Tom, like, yeah, it's like for the mountains, though, that if you want to go ahead and give it, like, say, give a variety of colors, or just when you use one main color, especially. But you got right there is like a little drawing of, like, there of Jesus right there, and I'll go ahead and add some details. I'm like, yeah, for the mountains, though, for the mountains. I'll go ahead and add just a little bit a darker color right there. But anyway, a little darker, right there. Anyway, just kind of give it, they say that that plateau type mountain type look, and if I go ahead and change this right here to a lighter color, again, for the water, I'm like, yeah, kind of, the shadow is, yep, I know. I'll go ahead and switch brushes here. Go and give, say, the blend tool, and go ahead and add, like, let's say, a little bit darker. I'm like, yeah, that I don't know, you know, compared this to like Illustrator, that I know that there's a tool called the blend tool, but I know that with this, the tools that I'm sure are available in Photoshop are, you know, I'm sure are quite similar, but yeah, that this right there looks like a little bit like trees, don't it? I'm like, you know, according to anybody say, I'm like, yeah, it looks a little bit just like trees, you know, blue trees on the mountains, you know, that type of stuff. But anyway, but just showing you right here is like some different things that we can think about what we like to do with our artwork, especially if we're going to be drawing them by hand, and then actually if we want to go ahead and upload it to a program, you know, such as like Photoshop, that the things that we can do. And I'll go ahead and yeah, change the size here and see what I can do about add in some more details right there, you know, for the grass. And it's like if it's tall grass or if it's low grass, but so here's something for the grass. But anyway, but trying to draw something, you know, based on, say, if it's realism or anything like that, that a lot of times, though, it seems quite complicated, because let's just say if I probably have about maybe 103 colors or so to choose from on like a program like Photoshop. But let's just say that if we only had about maybe 8 colors to work with, and knowing about how to mix in the colors and how to blend them all together, and then, you know, how to, you know, to draw a certain scene, you say from a, you know, from scene though. But I'll go ahead and use here's the same, you know, brush type, and then just add some detail right here. It's like for the background. If this was right here, was like a landscape right here, and yeah, I just go ahead and add a little bit of lighter green right there. I'm like, you know, I say, like, do you know what you're doing? I'm like, well, I guess if the question is like, you know, if you're trying to get, you know, the program, get the tools to work the way you want them to, and sometimes they say that that with most of the time we may say that, you know, most brushes would more likely be similar. But there are some, you know, brush types that I'm sure they're quite different. I guess it's all a matter of getting used to how they work. But I'll go in there right there. There's a detail right there. It's like for the grass. It's like they say, you add too much of it, and then it's gonna maybe give it like, yeah. See, that's one type of brush type. And if I want to go ahead and change the brush type here, go ahead, and there's another tool I did check out of. I'm like, yeah, this type of tool right here, which sure that, yep. Really, you know, if we would want to use this type of tool, I'm thinking that there's more likely a particular name for these tools right here that I'm sure that maybe we were familiar with, but on their hand, that knowing about exactly about what they're called. And anybody that may think about them, like if you want to go ahead and just give it a nickname or something until you can figure out what it's called. But anyway, like right there is, like I say, some scenery right there, you know, the grass, and then that right here will be, say, like a background scene. And if I can find that tool again, which I know I'm, you know, if I be able to find it, you know, just to kind of, you know, a tool that's, you know, pretty similar. Go ahead and just a little bit of green right here for the top. So, you know, for the mountain area. But yeah, you know, maybe if there was a few trees right there, but and then right here, oh, let's see here, yeah, for the sky view, see for the sky, what the sky looks like. If anybody wonders, I'm like, yeah, they're more likely there will be maybe just a little bit of green and pink as well inside the sky view. You got right here is the sunset, and then you got the clouds. And about right there, I can maybe do some more work on the clouds, but I might. But anyway, just knowing about that you have right here is I only started with so much whenever I drew the sketch right here, but then you know, a few things that I added for, like, say, the background and for the picture right here. And just knowing about, like, if we were to think about is like for the ideas, you know, for the church, is knowing about, like, the types of things that more likely that we can think about, you know, if we want to maybe picture about what Jesus looks like, and if we want to go ahead and add some artistic work, you know, to the face, and then I'll go ahead and use the zoom tool right here. Go ahead and zoom in right here, and right here is like, you know, the face look right here. But other than that, but I'm like, yeah, you know, with the face look right here, you know, for what Jesus looks like, and like, yeah, yeah, well, you know, I'm like, for the most part, I would think that Jesus would, you know, have like type of look. I might go ahead and change his size right here. See here, go ahead and change it a little bit smaller, you know, to a 12, and then go ahead and for whatever reason, I'm not seeing a brown available. I'm thinking that more likely that that maybe see here for brown, like I think that maybe that Jesus would have, I see, a brown, you know, brown eye look, you know, on his face. But anyway, but there you are, you know. And then with the hair, I can go ahead maybe add some little bit of a little bit of look right here. Is like maybe for a little bit of the beard, and then you know, maybe for the hair as well. But knowing about, you know, what does Jesus look like? But you know, there may be several other examples that more likely about what we think about what he looks like. But for the most part, knowing about for what's seen, of course, you know, from the Bible. But anyway, but there you have it. You know, for whenever the times and whenever I went to church, I kept thinking about that, knowing that you know, hey, I'm like, you know, if anybody, you know, want to say, I'm like, what the draw example for what you think Jesus looks like, and knowing about, I'm like, see here, just add a little bit, you know, using a little bit of orange right here, but you know, add some detail right there. It's like for the beard, and then for the hair. You know, go ahead and work, see what you can do on Photoshop if you want to go ahead and, you know, the things that more likely that we didn't have back then, those couple of years ago, and knowing about that if you want to go ahead and try to draw, you know, a picture of the guardian angel, or if it was your picture of the portrait of Jesus, you know, if you go ahead and try to work that on Photoshop and see what happens. And you've got right here is the eyebrows right here. But there you are. I'm like, you know, we may think that, I'm like, yeah, it's like with, see, I'll go ahead and select right here, you know, for the view right here, and like, you know, fit on screen. And then, there, got it. And then, so we can see right here, and then this picture right here, you got right there is the picture. And if I were to work the zoom tool right here, and then zoom in, and then we see that you got this, this what you call this picture frame right here. But it's like top us, like, what does Jesus look like? But other than that, talking about is like, so far as, you know, the Photoshop Jesus, I'm talking about the base about, you know, what Jesus looks like, and knowing about it's like for knowing about the land, say for Jerusalem. But other than that, like, you know, thanks for watching. So I'll say, you know, for the portrait of, like, talk, say, for the Photoshop Jesus color activity.